Alright, I wanted to do a quick follow-up video to the whole brake fail its inspection thing from the other day. So my buddy went back there and asked them about it. And I also wanted to get really good clarification because he told me that the first time he took the car there, they were very specific that it was the pads that had the delamination. And if I get a picture, maybe I can show you guys, I'll insert it here in the video, of what pad delamination really is. The pad material separates from the backing plate. Some people call it rust jacking, and it just kind of like lifts up, pushes it off, all right? And that's what they said. They said that your problem, the reason that it's failing, is because of pad delamination, and that we recommend getting your new pads, and you might as well get your rotors changed out too, is what they said. That was the specific wording that was done. And so when I did the video, that's what we looked at, and there was zero delamination on the pads. Zero. I mean, you saw it in the video. When we looked at the rotor, and this is the rotor, that they pulled off. We did a whole brake change last night. If the video is not too dark, maybe I can post the video of that. But anyway, when we looked at the rotor, we're in the Northeast. We get the salt and the rust. We're no strangers to rust up here. And to me, the braking surface, is what's important. And if you don't see rust and pitting, of course, this is now just flash surface rust, just over one night, you can see the little rust spots that form on this. You can see in the last video, it was totally clean. But obviously the pads don't extend out to the very, very edge, and, you get rusting there. And if you remember from the first video, the pads themselves were very even wear. There was not any grooves, any deep, grooves or anything. And even if we look at the back side here, you can see the surface where the pads meet. Is again, it looks just like the front, all right? But you have this, the rust groove on the end. All right. Now, my buddy took his car back, and now the story's changed, okay? I was a different person, and now they concede, yes, the pads are fine. But they say it is delamination of the rotors, and I've never heard that term used with rotors because it's a solid steel, or cast iron. I'm sorry, it's a solid piece of cast iron, so there's nothing to delaminate because nothing's really laminated, the way I would, always imagine it being called is rusting and pitting, and of course you get, flakes of rust. Now what they said is that the problem is the flaking on the outside. Now these are vented, rotors, and I mean, this is just what's going to happen here in in the Rust Belt. But what he said is that it's this little flaking here where this is what he's calling the delamination. And he says that as the rotor is spinning, and these little rust flakes will hit the bracket, okay? The bracket that goes around that holds your pads and whatnot, and then it can bounce in, and it can wear the pad life. It'll shorten the pad life and wear it faster. I'd imagine maybe what his argument also is that it makes a surface where it's not as great braking when the rust particulates, get onto here or something like that, which is kind of strange because it's spinning and centrifugal force would shoot it out. That's why he has to use the bracket as the piece that would knock it back in. I'd imagine. I don't know. I'm trying to be as fair as possible with this because honestly, when I've taken my cars to get inspected, I don't take it to a shop that does work. I take it to a place like Valvoline because there's no incentive for them to find things wrong. And I'm not saying, I'm really trying to be fair here. And if this is what this honest assessment is, I'm actually curious to know what any of you guys think of this. Do you think that was an accurate thing to fail the car for. Is this that bad? Because there is literally, the surface is fine. Like you saw, the pads were fine. It almost seems to me equivalent to winter tires. Okay, if you drive winter tires in the summer, they're going to wear faster. Is it bad to have winter tires on as far as performance wise? I mean, not until they go bad, right? You're not going to fail a car because it comes in with the wrong tires on. And so just because you don't have the most optimal tires for the conditions and they might not last as long because of X, Y, and Z, I don't think that's a disqualifier. And so in this case, the rotors are the material where the braking happens and the pads themselves. They were in, I think, good condition as far as where the braking occurs. So if they wear faster, then maybe next year they're going to have to get changed. But that's why I felt like that was probably an unfair reason to fail the car for inspection. But I'm really curious of your thoughts. Okay, like I said, I've had rotors like this. They've looked like this, and they have passed every single time at Valvoline. But yeah, but either way, we switched it all out. Completely new rotors and pads. But please comment. Let me know what you guys think, your thoughts on this, because I'm really curious to know. Have you ever heard of delamination on the rotors? Um, but yeah. Anyway, till next time.